Hi, it's Marilyn Devonish here from transformationstm.com, and I thought, as it's the beginning of the month, 1st of February, happy new month, I thought I'd do a reading for the month ahead. For those of you for whom this sort of thing resonates, my intention is that if you are watching this video, there will be something in there for you, which is some food for thought and something to think about. So I'm going to pull a card. I'll pull the cards in the same way that I do when I do my Tarot Tuesday session. So this is the deck I'm going to be using. It's my new coaching cards deck. And I will pull the cards in the same way that I do when I do the monthly Tarot Tuesday readings for my membership group, which I will give them a shuffle, think about the intention, and then I choose the cards face down. So facing away from me, just going to take out the header cards. Right, and so in terms of how they look from my perspective when I'm choosing a card, they all look exactly the same from the back. So it's just my logo on the back, and then of course they're all different when you look at them from the front. So it is February already. I don't know where January went. It was just like a complete, like, whoosh, flyby. Alrighty, so give them a shuffle. I'm just kind of picking a card that, something, message for the month ahead, something that will resonate. As I said, maybe some food for thought. And something that resonates for everyone, whether you're watching this live or whether you are catching the recording. Right. Hi, Coral Jones says, good evening, Marilyn. Good evening, Coral. Thank you for joining me. Oh, Raphael, happy Friday to you too. Right, so the vibe and the energy for those who are here live and for those who will be joining us for the recording. Let's have a message for February 2019. So I'm going to go with that card there first of all. And then I'm going to choose what I call kind of for this one a confirmation card as well. So something else that might want to add to that message. For some reason, I'm going to go for number 15 from the top. So just so you can see that I'm dealing them from the top and I'm not looking at them. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this one, whatever that is, will be number 15. So I'm going to go with that as well. Alrighty, so, okay. Oh, sorry, just get myself re-comfy again. So first card says, can you see that there? Move it that way. Is reflection. And I'll tell you what it says on the card in a few moments. All right, so reflection. Oh, how weird. Now, on Wednesday this week, I went and just did a 2-minute promo at the London. Yeah, actually, I might even still have it on the deck. Let me show you. So I think that's it there. So on Wednesday of this week, I went and did a 2-minute promo for the London Yes group because I'm going to be speaking there this month. So I'm going to be talking about Huna and Ho'oponopono and going beyond the words. After that session, after I did that, people come up going, oh my God, sounds amazing, so exciting. I'm definitely coming on the 27th of February. I was about to leave and one of the Yes Group team said, oh, can we do a video with you, please? I'd like 2 quotes. And so I decided on one of my favorite quotes from life, which came from Maya Angelou. And the second quote that I chose, which I said is like almost like a foundation for me, and it was a big wake up call. In terms of trying to figure out why my life was going wrong, is the quote I'm about to share with you here. So it says, wherever you go, there you are. And so that's the quote that you'll see if the Yes Group put that video out. And so so it says, often it's not just about the place, space, or location. It is also about what you carry inside you. So take time to reflect on what internally requires change. So the quote again is, wherever you go, there you are. This is something I had a dawning realization about in my 20s. So way before my personal development days, I had changed jobs several times. Each time I felt that I wasn't being respected. I didn't have enough responsibility. People weren't valuing my skills, yada, yada, yada. And so I'd go from job to job and you'd have the honeymoon period And then suddenly it's the same, you know, like Groundhog Day, here we go again. And one day I was looking through the job paper and the job section in the newspaper, and I suddenly had the thought, hold on a minute, what is the common denominator here? What's the pattern? Could it really be that all of these jobs and all of these employers and all of my bosses and all of my colleagues are not recognizing my skills, are not utilizing my talents? I was like, actually, no. The common denominator is me. And if I change jobs again, but I haven't sorted out the whole thing about valuing myself and my skills and my talents. And actually, for me, it was about getting clarity on what did I actually want to do with my life, rather than waiting for someone to discover that for me and see it in me and bring it out of me, which is kind of what I was begrudgingly hoping. I suddenly realized that I need to sort myself out first, because no matter where I go, even if I go to a new job, once the honeymoon period is over, it's going to be back to square one. And so with this card for the month of February, the invitation, should you choose to take it up, will be taking time for reflection. So we have already whizzed into the second month of 2019. Don't even ask me how we got here, because I'm like, it was the 1st of January, like 2 days ago. So we've skated past, and some of you might have had a different experience of it, of course. But this will be like, okay, we're gearing up now. It's almost like, for me personally, for myself, it's like January was the warm up, and now I'm gearing up to get into the swing of this year. And so the invitation would be to do some reflection as we start the month, and as we transition into the rest of the year. Yeah, you might want to be reflecting on, okay, where are you at? Where are you going? Where do you want to be? What are you doing with your life? How are you living your life? Is there anything that you want to change? What are the things that are going really well that you would have them remain the same? And just taking that time. And actually, the picture of this one, she's not in a mirror, she's sitting by a reflective glass, a big window. But one of the things you could do if you wanted to up the ante, actually, so this is a mirror here, but you could get a mirror, look into the mirror, and ask yourself those questions. And you might even start, there was a question that freaked people out. A few years ago, I created the Ignite Your Brilliance program. It was an e-coaching program that actually ran throughout the course of the whole year. People were freaking out with the first exercise. And I mean like freaking, like ringing me, emailing me, sending me messages on Messenger going, oh my God. A couple of people cried. A couple of people were slightly distraught. A couple of people were just stunned into silence. And the question was very, very simple. All it said is, who are you? And then I pre-qualified that. They're saying, over and above being a son, a daughter, a brother, a son, a sister, a mother, a friend, a colleague, an accountant, a lawyer, a crystal healer, whatever you define yourself in as your job and your role, I said, put all of that aside. Who are you? And many of the people didn't know, couldn't answer the question. So one of the things you might want to do is sit with the mirror, look into your own eyes, and ask yourself some of those questions. Who am I? Where am I going? What am I doing? What is it I want to get out of this year? What do I want to achieve? How am I living my life? Does that sit well with me? Is this what I want to be doing? And so it will be a good idea to do some reflection as we kick into the month of February. And my sense is that for some people, that reflection might run throughout the entire month. It won't necessarily just be, oh, let me sit down and do this for 5 minutes. It might be something that as you go throughout the month, you become the observer of yourself. And you look at situations, if we think of it in terms of, for those of you who have done NLP, you would have heard them talk about something called perceptual positions, where you almost go meta and above yourself and look down on yourself and your scenario, like the bird's eye view. And you might be observing situations as you're going along and going, does that still sit well with me? Is this still okay? Is this still what I'm choosing? Is this still the direction that I want to head in? And so February is not necessarily about getting there straight away for course correction, but it's observing. And it's the way I describe it in my kind of doing the management consultancy work. Oftentimes working in organizations, and a new person will come in. I work in central and local government, so local authorities and organizations like the Treasury Department and DFT, Department for Transport, and what was Ofsted, and those sorts of organizations. And people were often really, and rightly so a lot of the time, really worried and upset when a new manager came in. because they came in with this thing, new broom sweeps clean, is how the saying used to go behind the scene. And what that meant is the new person would come in, make sweeping changes without actually looking at the organization and just taking a bit of time to take stock. Because the people who've been there 20, 30 years will go, well, we did that and we did that. Now, don't get me wrong, there is an element where people don't want to change, because I was a management consultant and change manager, and also did leadership development, executive coaching. So it's my job to go in and implement change in an organization, and people are naturally resistant to change. But over and above the reluctance of, oh, here we go again, we did that before, it didn't work, that's a whole different conversation. But one of the things I did notice, that somebody new would want to come in and make their mark, but they didn't give things a chance. You know, they didn't get the lay of the land, they didn't see the direction that the organization was going, they didn't see how everything worked together, and they just took a tiny little snapshot and bang. And so this one is saying, don't rush into course correction, do this, do that, do that. Give yourself time to observe and really take stock. And then maybe as we're coming out towards the end of the month, that's where you would make a decision about course correction and, okay, where do we go from here? So that's the first card. The second card, okay, well, that makes sense, is it's called Next Steps. What it says on the card is, what can you do to move yourself another step closer to your goal, outcome, or dream? So I'll say that again. What can you do to move yourself another step closer to your goal, outcome, or dream? So I was just saying about taking stock, where are you at? And to be honest with you, it is much easier to decide upon the next step when you have clarity about your journey, when you have some semblance of an idea of where you're going. I remember when I went, it was March 2015 now, I went on a Caribbean cruise. I knew the ocean was vast, but there is something that takes your breath away when you are on deck, and often at night, the moon is shining, it's shimmering on the water, and it's just vast. And I just remember thinking, oh, bloody hell, how do they stay in the right direction? Because it's just like this massive, it's just like crazy. Now I know we've got navigation tools, I did the captain's tour, but it was just that thing, it's like, oh my God. And you just kind of realize, if they got a little bit off track and a little bit off track and a little bit off track and a little bit off track, rather than landing in Antigua, we'd be like in Germany. It's that sort of thing. So you must have an idea of where you're going, so you can kind of be steering in the right direction. And this one feels like reflection first, next steps. By the time you get to the end of this month, you will have much more clarity in terms of next step, next step, next step, next step. And many of you will know, particularly if back in the day, let's say you watched the movie The Secret, for example, it was Jack Canfield who did the analogy of driving in the dark at night, and you can't necessarily see the whole road, but you can see the next segment and the next segment and the next segment and the next segment. It's the same with like going through the slightly curved tunnels in London. If you're driving, you don't necessarily see right to the end of the Blackwall Tunnel, for example, but your focus is on get to the next bit and then get to the next bit and get to the next bit and get to the next bit. And it feels as though this month is about clarity. Can you answer those questions? Who are you? Where are you going? What do you want? How's it going? Where are you at? And then once you've done that, you will be in a much better position to say, okay, let me breathe. What's my next step? And take the next step and take the next step. And one of the things we're doing in the membership group is a whole process around the approach that I use to actually get things done, particularly when you haven't got a huge expanse of time and there's a lot of other stuff going on. And this is a similar kind of thing. But it's just appreciating that it might not all come in one big bang. There'll be the steps to take. But the thing about, I'm looking at this now, because let me just show you if you can see that a bit more clearly. The steps in this one are made up of a series of books, and it says strategy, plan, team, concept, and it's got, the thought clouds, all of the rest of it, systematization. But also one of the things that it's talking about for me in this context is also the idea of learning. The idea of kind of academia. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going back to school or you're going back to college, but there might be a skill that it will be useful for you to acquire, something you want to get better at, something you want to be more knowledgeable about. So if you have a wealth of information on your bookshelves, on your CD and DVD racks, this month might be one of the times to also put some time aside into self-growth, self-development, self-evolution, learning. And it feels like some of that will be for your business and your profession, first and foremost, but it almost as a consequence of that, and as a side effect of that, you will also experience some personal expansion as well. So anything else? And look at them in there together. See if anything else comes to mind. Funny, I had a conversation. There's someone called Charles Virtue. For those of you who do Angel Tarot, you might have heard of Doreen Virtue. So Charles is her son. I was having a conversation with him today, and we were talking about religion. And one of the things I've said about religion and kind of, various beliefs and spiritual beliefs, all the rest of it, I said from the things I've studied over the last 18 years and the things I've read and looked at and experienced for myself, all paths and all roads appear to lead in the same direction. And they have different names and different, descriptions and all the rest of it. But when you strip it all back, there are similarities. And so this one, the message is, it's not about the next right step. It's about the next step. Because who are you to know in this moment if the step is right or wrong? And sometimes it appears, and I can now hear Charles Dickens, but not hear him, I never heard him speak, but the saying, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. One of the things I have found to be true in terms of my life and the way that I've observed it goes for many other people, is there'll be situations that appear to be kind of disasters, wrong move, bad decision, poor judgment, unfortunate, however you want to put it. However, with hindsight, when you look back, oftentimes you wouldn't be where you are had it not been for that seemingly bad decision, wrong turn, etc., etc. And so this one feels like, let go of the pressure of, oh my God, it's got to be right, and just know. And the reason I say that, I'll show you again. If you look now into the picture, there are a load of arrows, direction arrows, and they're pointing, all sort of pointing, they're different styles of arrows as well, but they're kind of all pointing in the same direction, but it might mean that your route is slightly different. And so this is where I would come to the thing that I'm saying to my coaching clients, where it's kind of, I call it divine guidance, inspired action. When you're coming from that place of alignment and congruence, that is a really nice place and space from which to make your next move and to make your next decision. So it's not necessarily, oh my God, is it right, is it wrong? Because you never know where it's going to lead you. And I could bore you with story after story after story after story where things have seemingly gone wrong and they've turned out right. And I had this conversation yesterday. Funny enough, I was at the funeral of a friend who unfortunately committed suicide. And I was kind of, various people who haven't really faced or confronted that situation before were there. So talking to some of them just as we were kind of waiting outside. And one of the things I said is that for me, I wouldn't be here today doing the work that I do had it not been for that whole scenario. I know it sounds weird now, but I learned so much about myself. I had developed a level of empathy for other people, and it was one of the big catalysts for doing the work that I do to this day. But if anybody had said to you, hey, there'll be a silver lining in this situation, I probably want to punch your lights out at that time. So hindsight is a wonderful thing. So that's what I'd say about that one. Reflect, take time, get clarity within yourself and looking at the world around you and what you've created thus far and what you're choosing to create and generate. And then from there, as we get towards the end of this month, start thinking about what will support you in your learning, in your growth, in your evolution, in your business, and then start taking those next steps. Oh, that's nice. So Coral says, my sensei used to say that all paths lead to the same place. And Coral, that is exactly the way that I've kind of observed the world thus far. That, we can get all round in the houses about whose name is this, and how, you know, it's like which book is the best, and my deity's got 8 legs and yours has got 4 and yours has got 2, and da 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 da. But actually at the end of the day, if you strip back the kind of all that stuff, they're leading to the same path. Absolutely. So that is that for the month of February. And a little heads up for those of you who are in the membership group, if you're up for it, because I've got another new deck this month, which is very exciting. So this is, let's take the elastic off. So this is the Silver Linings deck from the wonderful Gina Batt. Let me show you those. And this is, I'm really happy about this, you know, doubly happy, because this is one that Gina created to be able to use at my Mind, Body, Spirit Energy Fest workshop. So this is one of the products and outputs of that workshop. Isn't that exciting? And God, how many, I'm going to say there's a good 45 plus cards. All of the cards are her original artwork, which is just amazing. So if you're up for it, we're going to use these cards for Tarot Tuesday. We do Tarot Tuesday the first Tuesday of the month, and I do individual readings for anyone who would like a reading. We do it via Facebook Live. So actually, I know people always get a bit antsy about Tarot Tuesday, so I'll put the thread up probably today because it's the favorite day of the week. But if you're up for it, we're going to use, ooh, one's just leapt out, 2 have just leapt out. Ooh, anger and fear. Okay, we'll see how those resonate as we go through. But if you're up for it, what we will do is we'll use the Silver Linings deck for the Tarot Tuesday readings this month, if you would like to. Well, Coral, no, I wasn't going to pull one now. Okay, let's see. All right, let's do a quick one then before I go and have my dessert. Okay, Kay says, how exciting, can't wait. I'm telling you, Kay, I'm really, and last month what I did the coaching cards alongside one of the favorite Angel Tarot card decks, and well, it wasn't surprising, the cards from the coaching deck and the cards from the Angel deck, exactly the same message. And I don't mean the same message every, you know, through the whole one message. Every reading I did was different and the cards correlated with each other. So it might actually be fun to do the Silver Linings and then for a few of them pull a coaching card as well and see how they sit and see how they resonate. Her cards are a lot bigger than mine. So in terms of size, there's mine, there's Gina's. So I'm just having to, I need bigger hands, slightly bigger hands to shuffle without just flinging them all over the place. Okay, so what has the Silver Linings got for us then in terms of this month? So I haven't used them before. She gave these to me for Christmas, and so they've been in the packet. I said I'd break them out. Well, I've just asked her permission to use them for Tarot Tuesday, and she said yes, of course. So yeah, that'd be cool actually, the Marilyn and Gina reading using our own decks. Both of which were created for the Mind, Body, Spirit Energy Fest workshop, which, by the way, is now available via video webinar. So you can take the training at any time. We ran it last weekend, so that's all live if you'd like to. And that's www.mbs, as in Mind, Body, Spirit, mbsenergyfest.eventbrite.com. So, all right, I think I've given them a decent shuffle. All righty. Okay, I'm curious. Okay, we'll do number 15 from the top as well, but let me do that one and then I'll choose one. 1, 2, 13, 14, so that's whatever that one is. And it's not always 15, the number just pops into my head sometimes, or there are other times it just says stop. There are times where a card would leap out. You guys who do Tarot Tuesday know the form. And I'm going to have a quick look at that one. And I mean a quick look. So, you know, I was saying it doesn't matter what deck you use and the messages will be similar. So we've just been talking about reflection. Starting with the big question, who are you? Why are you here? What do you want? Now, my photo readers will recognize those questions as coming under the umbrella of purpose, because when we're doing photo reading, step 1, we start with getting a clear sense of purpose, because that wakes up and sets kicks off the reticular activating system, sets the neurology in motion, and it puts your senses on heightened awareness. And that is how we start. If we're talking about, now I don't really do goal setting. I use the words goal setting because people understand those words. But for me, in terms of my life, I call it intention. And in my photo reading world, I call it purpose. But it's what I was talking about here in terms of, to be able to get the next steps, you need clarity on those kinds of questions. The card is purpose, which is exactly that. So it says on the card, she has a quote, he who has oh my god, I've not seen these cards before. I was saving them for Tarot Tuesday so that I could be surprised with the group. So he says, he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. So like I was just saying, why, and I was talking about the ignite your brilliance and the question, why are you here and who are you? It's exactly this. So it says, identify your purpose, know your purpose. A life, a dream fulfilled is when each day you know you are living and sharing your life purpose. Live life on purpose, with heart, with passion, with wisdom, with joy, with fun and laughter. And best of all, with love, compassion and purpose. Ask yourself, what is my life lesson and what are my silver linings? So purpose, so I'd say that fits beautifully with what we've just been talking about. And relation, oh, that's so funny. I was saying to Gina, oh, I'll see if people want to use the silver linings deck, but as it's February, you know, Valentine's Day, people might want the relationship deck. But we were just talking about that before I started this Facebook Live a few minutes ago. But let's see, you know, getting in there with a bit of Raphael action, I suppose. So, for those of you who are in the beginning, you know, I said to you, I looked at that, the card that I chose, and I said, oh my God, that's my quote. I used that quote at the end this week when they said to me, can we have 2 quotes? I said to you, I used one of my favorite quotes and one of my own quotes. So you've just heard my own quote on the reflection card. I've got goosebumps. The other quote that I used, oh my God, was a quote. And seriously, the video is out there. At some point, I'm sure the Yes Group will post it. It was done on Wednesday, like 2 days ago. Today's Friday, if you're watching this, you know, as a recording. The second quote that I said was a quote from Maya Angelou, which I have drummed into so many of my friends, and Gina and I were laughing about it. And she says, yeah, I heard that one from you. This is the quote that I gave on the Yes Group video 2 days ago. It says, people show you who they are, believe them. Now, the longer version of that is, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. But seriously, the 2 quotes of all the things I could have said on the Yes Group video 2 days ago, these are the 2 quotes. These are the 2 quotes that I gave on the Yes Group video. So, and when I get a copy of it, I will put it in the comments thread of this video. And if you're watching it on YouTube, I will put the link into the comments of the YouTube, just so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But those were the words that came out my mouth when I was put on the spot and I had to just pull 2 quotes out of thin air. This is just crazy. So it says, the first relationship we have is with ourselves. Devote time and love to yourself so that others may do so too. What is happening in your life regarding relationships? If they are being challenged in any way, this is a good time for a life lesson with added silver linings. Write down what relationships mean to you, one-to-one, family, friends, and working relationships too. Devote time for you, your me time. Show others how powerful that could be for them too. So I was just talking about time for reflection, time for yourself, taking time to reflect on who you are. It's exactly, you know, when I said to you, seriously, I'm not kidding you, this is exactly what happened with the Angel Tarot cards. I pulled the coaching cards, I pulled the Angel Tarot cards. The reading for each person were completely different readings, but the 2 sets of cards were in total harmony with each other. And these 2, I'm going to have to ring Drina now and go, oh my God, you're not going to believe it. And she will believe it, of course. But that is just the coolest thing. So there you have it. And again, you know, take it or leave it. If this doesn't resonate for you, number one, why are you watching the video anyway? And, you know, if it resonates, that's great. If it doesn't resonate, that's great too. And I always say to, you know, with the Tarot Tuesday readings, I don't do them so people can hold on to them and then try and engineer things and make them happen. The reason I do them is just to give you some food for thought, some ideas, and a really nice way to use the readings. And actually, guys in the membership group, it might be really fun to go back and do that now. So if you go to the membership group website, all of the Tarot Tuesday readings back to when we started in October 2016 are in the Tarot Tuesday thread. So you might actually want to go back and look at January 2018 and just see what was said in the reading there, just for the fun of it, because I always say that hindsight is a wonderful thing as well. And oftentimes the readings will go out of someone's head, but then when they look back or come across it or see, because I pull cards for everyone, I take photos of the cards and I post the cards as well. People will sometimes look back and go, oh my God, and then they look at what's unfolded, and there's a synergy there as well. Kay says, please can you post the pictures of the 2 cards in the thread? I will do, Kay, and I'm not going to be up to my usual standard because I haven't got my camera at the moment. It's broken, so I'm going to have to use the one on my iPad, which isn't fabulous, but you'll get a representation. So yes, I will put the cards in, but uncanny as usual, what can I say? Apart from when the cards have a message, they will get that message through regardless of what deck you're using. It's more about the energy, the intention, and the message that wants to be delivered. And so for those of you who have been on my page today, you would have seen that I posted something about the A to Z list that's been going around, and the kind of conversations that have been happening with the Angel Tarot. And I was just saying to a friend earlier on, for me, it's not about the deck, because you've just seen you can pull a card from any deck. And I'm not going to do it, but I could get up and get one of those decks and we'll probably get exactly the same message. So I don't get too hung up on that. It's about you and what do you bring to this, and kind of the message that I guess in a way channels through you. Raphael says, thank you, enjoy your weekend. You too, Raphael. Kay says, haha, that is so funny. See my comment below. I will have a look at that because it doesn't always put them in order, but I will check that out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful month of February, and yeah, here's to some reflection time, here's to some time to get clarity on your purpose, here's to having some time for yourself, and then getting clarity on those wonderful next steps so you can actually step into living your purpose more fully. So thank you for watching. If you are joining me for the London Yes group at the end of this month, really look forward to seeing you there and doing some huna and all of that. And for tarot, you guys, for membership group, Tarot Tuesday is coming up, and so if you're up for it, we'll use the Silver Linings deck, but as I think I've just proven over and over again, and we've proven it time and time again over the last 2 years, it's not about the deck really, it's about the message that is winging its way to you. Coral said, it's funny you should bring up that second quote, as I was thinking that earlier, ... Coral, I mean, what I'll probably do is the person who filmed the video at the Yes group, when this, renders, I'll send her a link. I'll say, she doesn't have to watch the whole thing, but I'll just say to her the 2 quotes that I gave to you. And this was about 10:30 on Wednesday night. I'll say the 2 quotes I gave to you have just come up in the reading. So, and Gina and I have been working in synergy for many years. So it does on so many levels. It does not surprise me. It doesn't surprise me about the cards being in synergy, because they always are when they have a message, and it doesn't surprise me that Gina and I would be in synergy even though she's not here physically, but having just asked her if I've got permission to use her deck. So it's all good. I love it. And that is why, for me, working with tarot, all of that kind of stuff is an absolute joy. And it's not necessarily about the card and the person, it's all about the other stuff that sits around it. Yeah, and if you're interested in the A to Z list, if you don't know what the A to Z list is, chill, relax, let it go. If you do know what the A to Z list is, which has been put in the personal development world into a bit of a spin, then I've posted my blog about that. So if you're watching this in real time, if you scroll down 4 or 5 posts on my main Facebook page, you'll see a link to the blog that I've written. Also with some transcripts of the conversation that I had with Charles Virtue today as well. Makes for interesting reading, I think, and it's lovely to hear his point of view. And Coral says, amazing when you said the first one. I thought you were going to say that one. Brilliant. It's just crazy, isn't it? It's just crazy. You got to love this stuff. So wishing you all a fabulous, fantastic, incredible, magical February 2019 and beyond. Thank you so much for watching. And if you did want, if you're not in the membership group and doing the free readings, you can book an angel tarot card reading via my website. I think it's www.transformationstm.com/angel tarot card readings. And I will put the link in the comments for that as well if you wanted to book an individual reading if you're not in the membership group. So thank you for watching, and catch you all later. Bye bye. And thank you so much also, you guys, for your comments and the thumbs up and the hearts, etc. Really fabulous. Thank you.